Well, it is a beautiful morning. It's 4 minutes past 7 o'clock on this 31st day of July 2024. A special day in Uganda, but especially in Buganda. Today, we celebrate 31 years of our King Ronald Muwenda Mutebi Kimera II. He was coronated on the 1st of July 1993 in Nagalabi, and he's been on the throne for 31 years. So we are celebrating that, and that explains our dress code for the day, because what a way to celebrate the man that Buganda adores and loves to the core, than to, bring out the culture. So today, I will go by Najuma only, I think. Anyway, my name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'm so glad that you're watching Good Morning Uganda this morning. Now, today still, in as much as we are celebrating our king, we still look into some other issues that are aggrieving some sections of our society. And there is the issue of intern doctors that are striking because they have not been deployed. So there is one thing, you're done with your studies, and now you need to be deployed into a hospital for that 1 year of internship. Doctors do it differently, and I have a doctor on set with me to make us understand why it is very important for them to be deployed. And the doctor I'm speaking to this morning is Dr. Sechanzi Henry, who is also a master's student at Makerere University, but also a former intern leader. Why is he interested in this conversation, and why are we seeing all this chaos from the interns? What's not happening? Is the government quiet? Is the government silent? Or is it blind to their needs? Those are some of the questions we'll be asking. But if you have any, you could also ask the same through WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. Now let's launch into the conversation. First of all, you're welcome, Dr. Sechanzi.
Thank you very much, Najuma. And starting from the note of the king,
yes,
I'm actually from Buddu. Okay. I'm from Masaka. And I also celebrate my king.
Oli Muganda,
yeah, ndi Muganda, ndi musajja wa kabaka, neddirante. So kabaka wange nange nkuyozaayoza emyaka 33 gyomaze ku Namulondo, era nsaba Mukama akwongera emyaka emirala mingi bufukunyanga obugulu bw'eggongolo.
Oh, bufukunyanga obugulu bw'eggongolo. Nice one. Tambula mungo mu.
Nsobolera ddala naye
tambula mu katonotono.
Olina space mala wena atambulira wano.
Oh wow. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing to celebrate culture and to celebrate the king.
Indeed, and I like the dress code here. I like the way you put it. I mean, we love our king, and we pray for very many good years of his leadership.
Amen. Yes. Amen. Yes. We take all the prayers for the king. Now let's launch into our conversation. Why is what is happening with the intern doctors important to you? The viewer would like to know, how are you associated to this cause, given the fact that you're no longer an intern?
Oh, thank you very much for that. For starters, I was an interns leader when I did my internship. And that was in 2019, 2020. But before that, when I joined medical school in 2014, that's 10 years ago, we actually had internship strikes. They are quite rampant. Actually, I joined one when I was in my first year. And almost since then up to today in 2024, at around this time, this debate always comes. And if maybe we also don't do as we should do, probably next year at the same time, the same debate might come. So interns problem has been recurrent. It keeps happening, and the gist of the matter is that usually if it's not about the payment being delayed or being too little, it's about something to do with the deployment. This time round, it so happens that interns were called on Monday 29th to be inducted. Usually before the internship, they are called, they're inducted, they're introduced into the system. They are briefed on what is expected of them, how they should conduct themselves during internship. So all interns were invited, and as of today, they are actually up to a tune of 2,500. This number has been increasing. The current people who are finishing, they were 1,900, but the next lot is going to be 2,500. So they were called, they were inducted, they were told the money is available to deploy you, you are all going to be deployed. Yes. Then after that, as everyone was anxious, we was ready for internship preparing and all that, a letter came that evening that actually they're not going to deploy all of them due to financial constraints. That they don't have all the money to pay for all these interns, much as we saw a letter that actually that money was available.
For all the 2,500?
Yes, that money had been sent. They received 35 billions. So, and they actually told us, they told the interns that that money would be able to cater for them. So later that evening, they received a letter that actually they would only deploy just half of that number. That's 1,200. So it so happens that all the interns of the previous, all the interns who graduated, who finished medical school this year, are not going to be deployed. So they're only deploying interns who finished school last year. So that means that all interns for this this year 2024 are not going to be deployed, and that's where the problem came from. It happens that Makerere University, the whole class of this year, they're not going to be deployed. Some other universities have been affected as well, including Muni University, Lila University, then Soroti University. So those universities have been badly affected. So it so happens that they're not getting a deployment, and that's the cause of the trouble for now.
Well, if you're just catching us on this conversation, you're not late. We have just started a conversation regarding the 1,200 medical degree holders missing internships. I beg your pardon, the internship doctors that are now going to miss out on internship opportunities because, according to Dr. Sechanzi right here with me, the government does not have enough money to deploy all of them into hospitals. And he does say that other universities have been affected. The ones that are on strike or threatening to strike are from Makerere University, but other universities have also been affected. But now it begs for the question, if 35 billion was released and there is a letter to the effect that that money is to help in the deployment of intern doctors, then why are we now turning around to say that there isn't enough money for the deployment to take place for all 2,500 intern doctors? So join the conversation through WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. We are speaking about the plight of intern doctors in Uganda. Are you an intern doctor, or you know someone that is an intern but has missed out on the opportunity to be deployed? What's your say? What questions do you have for Dr. Sechanzi right here? Let's have this conversation. Now, Doctor, how do these challenges impact the ability to provide quality patient care?
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. For starters, before somebody becomes a doctor, there are so many steps that are involved. I don't know if any of your classmates, the people you studied with, became doctors.
Yeah,
but
yes.
But usually those kids who are the most brilliant in class, those kids would get the 90s.
Doctor, did you just make us feel like we were not bright?
Really. Not really.
Us who are doing arts.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're bright, but
you're right.
Yeah,
there were the bookworms.
It really takes an extra effort. It takes an extra level of intelligence. Much more hard work. Those are the kids who got all the points. So and then when they come to university, for instance, the way medical school is actually not like these other schools in that the work is too much that has to be covered in a short time. You read a lot. So usually, we usually think that maybe at the end of the tunnel, there's light at the end of the tunnel. When we finish school, we're going to get jobs and practice and go serve the people, and but seemingly that doesn't happen. Okay, that after this, actually as of now, there are many doctors who are unemployed. That's quite a challenge.
After 5
after 5 years and you've done the internship, many people actually are unemployed. So unemployment among doctors is no longer a secret currently. But then, much as finding a job is difficult, it's also coming out that now getting an internship placement is also difficult. So why is an internship placement, before you tell us how this is affecting patient care, why is an internship placement very important? First of all, for you to become a doctor and get a license to practice, you need to first do this internship. So this internship is sort of an apprenticeship time whereby you're going to be working but under supervision. You'll have supervisors who will be who will monitor your work to be sure that you're confident, you can do some of the procedures, you can do some surgeries, you can handle patients very well. So it's sort of transitioning you from being a medical student into a doctor. So it's a time to make you ready to face the world. And without that internship, you cannot become a doctor. And not only just the doctor.
It's like the bar exam for medical doctors. How lawyers have to go through LDC before they can litigate. Now you cannot become a full-fledged doctor without an internship.
That's it. Actually, it's not only doctors alone, but this requirement is also there for nurses, degree nurses. It's there for pharmacists as well as dental surgeons. So before they can be allowed to practice, they need this. Now, if it comes out like it's coming out now that they might have to wait home for a whole year, first of all, these medical concepts, they decay, I would say.
They evolve.
Yeah, not even evolving, but assuming I've learned all my medicine and I know all my facts and I'm ready to practice them, and then you tell me I have to wait for another whole year, most likely these facts are going to keep, deteriorating. You keep losing some of these facts. You somehow lose grip on most of them. And two, a whole year is really a long time. We don't know what these people are going to do out there. We don't know if they're going to go to the fields and start maybe grazing animals or
lose interest.
Yeah. By all means, the quality, these facts, these concepts, they keep reducing as time goes along. But apart from that, you're already a doctor, and they're sort of telling you to go back to your parents' home.
They have already spent so much money.
Yeah, actually, and medical training is very expensive, by the way. So people have spent a lot of money on you. They have a lot of hopes in you.
Musao.
They are calling you Musao. They're calling you doctor. And then you hear up with your bags telling them that, Mommy, I'm back here to spend all my time here. Wake up in the morning, take tea, wait for lunch and supper. So it's going to impact very negatively on them, and also it's going to affect their mental health. As I told you, these are the brilliant kids, very ambitious. They
had all these dreams.
Some of them want to go and do masters. They do PhDs. But our friends abroad, places like which are a little bit developed, where systems are a little better, people get PhDs at 22 years, 23 years. Our medicine, you realize that because it's quite a long period, most people finish medical school when they're around 25, 26. So if you want to tell them to, to wait another extra year of being unproductive, 28. Their mental health is going to be at stake.
Because these are their most vibrant years. These are their energetic years. They want to be doing the things that they studied. Okay. That's an interesting perspective. But now let's go back to patient care. If hospitals do not have intern doctors, how does it impact patient care?
Very negatively. I can tell you very negatively. Interns are like the engines of hospitals. That they handle most of the work. Medical practice is more like an army, whereby there are ranks. Okay, so in that hierarchy, of course, you have the medical students down here. Then after medical students, you have the interns following up there. After the interns, now you have us, a person of my level. We are the master's students. And then after us, we're our bosses, the consultants and all that. Yeah, but you realize that the specialists, they cannot be on ward 24/7. They are quite busy. They usually have responsibilities. Some of them are teachers. They're running clinics here and there, so they may not have all that time to be there to see the patients. People who follow there in ranks are us, but by virtue of being master's students, we have also to take a lot of time to read, make research, compare articles, prepare presentations, so we cannot be there.
So the
people who are there are the interns. So when you go to a hospital, most of these regional referral hospitals and the national referral hospitals, you're going to be first attended to by an intern. They will make an assessment of you, they will take your history, they will examine you, they will take necessary investigations, so that by the time maybe I come in, they have done most of this work. So they are like the donkey horse. They do most of this work. So without having many of them in hospitals, it's definitely going to affect negatively on the quality of the patient care. Yeah.
So now you said every single year around this time, you're going to have this problem.
It has been there, and for my projection, because if they don't do the things right, if they don't, you know, plan well and get a permanent solution, most likely it's going to keep recurring.
So, yes, speaking of a permanent solution, I have personally, in my line of work, I've been at the forefront of this for the last couple of years. Every time there's been a strike, I have interviewed someone. If it's not intern doctors, there is an issue with the nurses. If it is not the nurses, there is an issue with the doctors. But usually around the same time, they come around one after the other in the same period of time in most cases. So what are the main challenges that interns are facing, and why is it that this problem is recurrent every single year?
Reasons are quite many, but I think the most important one is the planning. Most of the people who should be making these decisions have really not done adequate planning. For
all these years?
Yeah, it looks like, because I would expect them to prospect and anticipate maybe the number of interns that will come. Usually they give an excuse that the numbers keep increasing, which I think is a beautiful thing, because we need the doctors either way. We have a concept called the doctor-patients ratio. WHO recommends that for every 1,000 patients, there should be one doctor.
And for every 10,000, 71, something like that.
So, but Uganda, we are scoring very badly on that scale. That for us, we are at one doctor per 25,000. So we are still doing very bad. In that sense, we still need the doctors, very many of them. We need the nurses, very many of them. We need the pharmacists, very many of them.
Actually, we are 17 doctors per 10,000.
You see?
Too bad.
So what happens is, most of the doctors are there. They are there on the streets.
But they don't have the jobs.
They don't have the jobs. And many more others are coming. So there's a problem with, you know, after school and getting into public service. But I won't go into that so much. However, there's an issue of planning that I expect maybe the people who are in these positions, who should be making these decisions, to plan ahead. Maybe you can see and maybe calculate, because at some point these are just mathematical things. You can maybe get how many medical students we have in 5th year who are completing, how many interns are we expecting maybe in the next 1 year, and then plan accordingly, plan for them and ensure that, you know, whatever resources they need are available. But on top of that, there has also been an issue of funding. Seemingly, okay, not even seemingly, but it's a fact that the Ministry of Health doesn't get the money it should actually be getting. We have, I don't know if you've come across the Abuja Declaration. It was like a conference where it was agreed that for any country to have its population productive and achieve the best and their potential, it would be best that they appropriate 15% of the total national budget to health. Like, of course, it was a conference attended by countries from all over the world, and Uganda was signatory to it. So it came out that for any country, if you were to realize the full potential of your population, at least 15% of your budget should be to health. If I may ask you how much of that we appropriate to health, you answer me. But you realize
I will ask the same question to you.
So
how much is appropriated to health right now?
Less than 10%, okay? Less than 10%. So by that, definitely these challenges will come up. These challenges will come up. We're sort of working at half budget, what we should be, and that is responsible for most of these challenges that we're seeing. We're not seeing the doctors getting into the system. We're not seeing, sometimes the supplies can be lacking in facilities. Sometimes logistics may not be there. So it's because the funding has not been done right. So I feel like problems rotate around the funding, and also the planning.
Poor planning.
Yes, poor planning.
It seems like there are so many moving parts when it comes to this conversation of intern doctors, because now it is deployment, but then we've also had strikes along the lines of payments.
An intern, like I told you, these interns are the donkey. Like
and before you answer that, there are people who are of the mindset that you're an intern. Why are you striking about pay? Make us understand why an intern doctor. You did mention that this is how you transition into being a full-fledged doctor, but make my viewer understand why it is very important for intern doctors to be paid, whereas in other places, interns most times are not even paid. They're just given probably lunch or transport.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Now, A medical intern. Actually, I feel like that name should be changed. It should become. Actually, we've even suggested it that you should change from calling them interns to junior house officers. Like I told you, I'm a senior house officer. The other one is a junior house officer. The term intern is sort of misleading because these people actually they have finished school. They finished school. They have graduated. Okay, they are doctors. Unlike
the other interns from other fields who do internship when they're like in second year, they still have 1 year to graduate.
Yes. So for us, it's a little bit different that you actually, you finished school, you're a professional, but just that you need that period, you know, to perfect some skills, to develop some bit of more confidence, but actually you do everything like a doctor does. So I remember in my internship, we could do do surgeries, we could see patients. Actually, and unless a patient is very complicated, but most of the cases really, an intern can be able to see you, they diagnose you, they manage you, and you go home very well. They do surgeries, they do cesarean sections, they do minor surgeries, they attend to children. So interns, actually, medical interns are real doctors who are just in a period of apprenticeship. That makes us a little bit different from these other disciplines. Interns. So about the pay, our pay is meager.
Yes, the last strike that we had, I think that was last year, it was overpayment.
So our pay is actually little money that it's embarrassing to say that actually doctor earns that money. But
how much is it?
It's 1 million per month. The unfortunate bit is that sometimes this money doesn't even come on time, so you can actually have to wait for 3 months when you've not received this money. So the money is little because at some point there are many internship sites where there are no accommodation. Someone has to rent for themselves, they have to feed themselves, they have to transport themselves. You know, I told you this is a time when, you know, people are all over the places. They're having boyfriends, they're having girlfriends. Sometimes they have to pay for, they have to pay for hair. So when you get that 1 million,
they have to pay for birthday cakes.
You know? So when you get that 1 million and have to split it, really, it's not enough money. And to this effect, previously, I think like two years ago, the interns leader and the Uganda Medical Association leadership, they went and met the president.
Yes.
They discussed this with him, and the president understood this matter and suggested that at least each intern should be receiving 2.5 million.
Yes.
As their net pay.
As their net pay.
Yeah. Actually, they're paying the same money to interns and SHOs. So even SHOs are earning the same money. And the president advised that better we'll be getting half the money our bosses get. Like if you are, for instance, an intern, after internship you become a medical officer. So a medical officer, president has suggested they could be getting 5 million. So an intern should be getting 2.5.
Half of what the supervisor gets.
Yeah. So, but
that has not been realized.
They started on it. It happened for just I think about 6 months, and it didn't continue for so long.
And then you went back to the original salary.
The original salary, which is really small money, and it's not enough.
Wow, issues of intern doctors in Uganda. Like Dr. Sechanzi here said, they are recurrent every other year around this time. I don't know what's special about around this time. Yes. Is this when you're supposed to be deployed?
Yeah, this is the time when the people who have been in internship are supposed to end, and another lot takes over from them.
This is your, basically, not a financial year, but your calendar year starts now.
Actually, to the current interns, today is their last day. The people who are ending, today is their last day, being the last day of the month. The other group is supposed to start on 5th, so we just have a lag of about 4 days, but the other lot is supposed to start on 5th. So this is the period when the transitions happen, and that's where usually the problems arise.
Okay. Now, you did mention that when interns are not deployed quickly, some of the concepts, medical concepts, decay. I'd like to borrow from your your vocabulary. So, these are the potential risks you face if you're not deployed in time.
If people are not deployed, okay, because as things are right now, we're likely going to be having a backlog that whenever people finish in medical school, they will be waiting almost a year to be deployed. It comes with consequences. One of them is the fact that this medical fact, this medical knowledge, much as you've attained it, the longer you take without practicing it, you keep losing it. You keep losing it. So imagine someone has finished school and now you're telling them to go for 1 year and be there in the field. Probably they're going to go graze cattle, they're going to go look after children, like whatever they will do. They're going to lose touch with the medical world.
So now my question would be, we've seen the challenges, we've seen the root causes, and now the big question is, how do we move forward? How can the government, I was going to say, how can the government and other healthcare providers, how can they work together? But I feel like this is a government problem. So how can the government work with the interns to create a lasting solution so that we do not have this as a recurrent matter year after year? Because when we have this problem, I personally think that we end up losing as a country, and now issues of brain drain might come in, losing our best to other countries that can give them opportunities. So how can you interns, you're no longer an intern, but how can the interns work together with the government to create a lasting solution?
One, there needs to be a detailed analysis of the problem, because seemingly we sort of keep shifting goalposts. If one problem comes up, we tend to sort of think of a possible problem and, you know, haphazardly go over them. So we need to make a full situation analysis of the problem. It has always been highlighted that, hey, the numbers are really big, but the numbers are not big. Actually, I feel like these numbers are an asset, okay? Because yes, we need the doctors are there, so the numbers are an asset. Numbers are not a problem. At some point, people have mentioned that many universities are mushrooming, all the time universities are coming up, so many new universities are coming up, which I still feel is a good thing, because we need to develop, and education is such a big tool for development. So each time we have a regional university coming up, it's a good thing and we should support that. So I feel like there's no problem regarding mushrooming universities, there's no problem regarding the numbers. But the problem is about the planning, of which planning now has to be done by 3 bodies. That is the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and the National Council for Higher Education. Being a medical intern, first of all, you're in between 2 ministries, okay? Because medical training is purely education. It's not under Ministry of Health. So, and then you're transitioning from being a student under Ministry of Health to now being a doctor and a Ministry of So first of all, I don't know how that relationship currently is working, because these ministries sort of have to come together.
You feel like there is a mismatch, maybe there is a gap over there.
Yes, actually at some point, that was my year, when we still had issues. Actually for us, they changed our rotation system. Initially, it used to be that because we do 4 major disciplines, that's obs and gyn, pediatrics, internal medicine, and surgery. So people used to do 3 months in each of those, totaling to 12 months in a year. Like you rotate, you spend time in these disciplines, each of them 3 months, so that making it a year. And then my year, the time I started internship, they changed this from this 3 rotation system to a rotation system whereby instead of the 3 months per discipline, you choose 2 disciplines, whereby in these 2 disciplines, we call them the majors and the minor. So for the major, you spend 5 months there, and the minor, you spend there 1 month. So for us, that was the reason for the strike. So as we striked, at some point we went to the ministry, and I think we caused too much headache to the minister. So she was like, actually, people here disturbing, but you should be under Ministry of Education. So Dr.
Sechanzi, our time is fast spent, but I have a comment here from Mulindwa Rugumayo from Fort Portal Tourism City, and he says, I think the qualified medical interns, doctors, should be innovative. With the rise of AI, physical jobs will be phased out. They should do communal outreaches with their skills.
Wow.
In just a nutshell, how do you respond to that?
That's really, really brilliant. That's excellent. Actually, when you look at some of the things our colleagues abroad are doing, we feel bad. That looks like they're way many steps ahead of us. Like I told you, being a medical doctor, you're brilliant, you're intelligent. But for you to be able to think and innovate and come up with these innovative solutions and breakthrough ideas, you need to have a right sense of mind. You need to be well motivated. You need to be comfortable. Okay.
All right.
If you don't have that comfort and that right state of mind, you're having financial pressures. Now they're telling you to go home and sit. there's no way you're going to think right and come up with these innovative solutions.
Well, Melinda, I hope you've gotten an answer to your comment. The doctor says you must have your affairs in order for you to be innovative. So that means you must have peace of mind. Your financial affairs must be at least you basically have your ducks in a row for you to now become innovative. And doctor, I can't thank you enough for coming through this very early morning to have this conversation with us. And we do wish the medical interns the best of luck. Hopefully they will be deployed.
Yeah, that's our prayer. That's our hope. We are giving it our best. We feel it's not too late. Internship is starting on 5th of August. We feel we can actually create some change. We feel like these interns cannot be deployed. The money can be found. And yeah, and life moves on.
All right.
Yes.
Hopefully, life will move on and in the right direction with a good tide. My name is Olive. We are going to take a short break. Up next is Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. Now, later on, I'll be coming back with Good Morning Uganda Business. Jerome Paul will later on be joining us from Namirembe Cathedral, where the coronation service is taking place. Today, we celebrate 31 years of coronation, or the coronation anniversary of His Royal Highness the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi. Awangale Sabasajja Ninna Abagereka agerekera Buganda.
Of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, may don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda. Radio 7 Masindinga bulijjo egenda kuchanganya emyaka esatu mu nsike nga 3/8/2024 mu kisaawe ky'e Masindi anti Lwata Mabaale. Lwata Mabaale Sobodonkole nga bulijjo nga bwokimanyi ebyokulya ebyokunywa byonna bya bwerere ate tekuletedde abayimbi abamaanyi Edi Kenzo ne Big Talent yonna lukoba ku lukoba kukasa n'abayimbi b'emunyolo bonna tutandika ku makya tukigalewo ku makya g'enkeera okuyingira mu twalo gumu gwokka jangu onyenyegali b'enjole mu Lwata Mabaale anti nga Radio 7 ejaganya emyaka esatu mu kisaawe e Masindi nga 3/8/2024 tusookawo n'ebyemizannyo omuli omupiira okubaka okudduka nga biwagiddwa Sugar Limited chairman kombucha drinki Balam Sounds by Two Group. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the tragic story of the mighty empire of Bunyoro Kitara. Enjoy the story of Africa's mighty warrior Omkama Kabalega in Tuko Pamoja Bunyoro segment.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
When the Bachweze weekend that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro Kingdom. That's Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
We are similar people.
And genetically we are even.
the same people.
Use that word pamoja.
Kagadi at URDT Institute on Friday 2nd August, Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday 3rd August, Masindi at Vija Hotel on Sunday 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
A very good morning to all our viewers. My name is Nami Sango from Mamba Clan, and today as we celebrate the 31 years of the reign of our King Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi, we wish him a very happy and a joyous 31st coronation anniversary. So I think his reign has been one of those regimes that have really empowered the youths. Mumulembo Mutebi, the youths have so much been empowered. We've been given the voice, the power to stand up for ourselves, and we really appreciate that from the king to give us the youths. I think it is among this reign that where the youths have been able to have a voice, an informed voice coming up to stand out for each other, and we've been given the freedom to do whatever that we wish, and also to be innovative and create different avenues where you can earn from. And that takes us to our theme today, and where we are going to talk about content creation in Uganda's tourism. Remember, the GME Tourism Express, we are committed to telling you about anything and everything that is about Uganda's tourism. And today, we are still diving deeper into content creation in Uganda. And today, the narrative has somehow changed, that content creation was usually taken to be a male profession. It was taken to be something that only men or male people used to engage in. I remember when we were younger, we even called a camera person a cameraman, because we never saw a woman coming up to take photos, so we knew any person who takes photos is a cameraman. Actually, I think even now some people still call camera ladies or camera personnel cameramen, because that is the narrative. But the narrative now is changing, that we have female bloggers, we have female content creators, and when it comes to the tourism sector, so many ladies have come up to passionately promote the country, doing very beautiful content, taking very beautiful photos, speaking about tourism. And today with me in the studios, I'm with one of the famous content creators in the tourism sector. She goes by the names of Miss Gumisiriza Precious, the Muchiga Traveler. When I say Muchiga Traveler, I'm very sure that now you know the name, the brand Muchiga Traveler, because she has done tremendous work in the tourism sector, taking very nice photos, talking about different destinations, and taking very nice videos of destination Uganda. Precious, very nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, the world. This is Muchiga Traveler. I highlight Uganda's tourism potential, and I'm really glad to be here today.
How does it feel to be a female content creator?
For me, actually, it's I feel like it's a privilege. It shows me that I can do anything. I'm not limited. So yeah, it's a good thing.
That is nice. Every time I see ladies coming up to do things that are usually known for men, it really inspires me. It shows that actually ladies, we can go higher and nothing can stop us. Now, Precious, we need to understand, in this world of content creation in Uganda's tourism, how do you think that female bloggers, female content creators coming up, how do you think that has influenced the representation of female travelers and tourists?
Thank you so much, Ellen. First of all, that has, it highlights diversity and inclusion, in that we are not left out in this part of sector as well. It shows that, first of all, women, we have a really keen eye.
Yeah,
we have attention to detail. And inclusion of women also highlights the aspects of issues like safety, because we know that that is one of the most important aspects when traveling. So having women travel, having women content creators, that really highlights the safety of the region, you know, because I don't think anyone would risk their life to go and maybe shoot content, create content for a place that is not really safe for them to do so. Yeah.
And then I remember some time back, I used to, every time you could ask me before I went into real tourism promotion, every time someone asked me, I would say, I promote Uganda's tourism, and I'm promoting that tourism and adventure is the new sexy thing for the ladies. Because I thought, like, now girls need to travel more. Girls need, and when female content creators come up like you're really showing the girls that, yes, you can actually also travel somewhere and have fun, but also create impact. Well, another thing that I think that we need to understand now, like you has been into this industry of content creation in the tourism sector, what unique perspectives do you think that ladies are bringing on the table in content creation? Do you think are there some things that women are bringing on the table that men have not done before, or they are doing uniquely?
Thank you so much, Alan, again. Like I mentioned earlier on, women have a unique eye. So we often look at some of these places or destinations that are overly looked, you know. And also women content creators highlight some aspects like women-led businesses. Like, let's say if I go to a destination, let's say like Kasese, it's so easy for me to highlight some of women-led businesses. So I'm highlighting their impact, you know. And also because naturally women are responsible, so we are very big advocates of responsible tourism, you know, and that is really a very big thing. I know that lately, responsible and sustainable tourism is the theme everywhere. So women really are very big advocates for that, you know. And also oftenly the aspect that has been left out a lot is like destinations that offer family friendly. You know, still at the back of our minds, women, we are family oriented. So I feel like the involvement of women in this sector, it has now brought out that aspect of now highlighting destinations that are family friendly, so that we don't also leave out these little ones, you know. Before, you know, people only travel like on honeymoons, a couple. How about the kids? But because women, at the back of our minds, family first, you know, so we've tried to also bring out this perspective which has been left out, you know. Yeah, even I think even when now, let's say there is a very nice photo that you took when you're in Murchison Falls. I think it had some sunset in the background, and then you had your safari hat on, you had your boots. It's just that, you know, in most cases ladies feel like for them to have fun, they have to dress up in that sexy way, like, okay, that pretty way, you're well composed, and they feel like you cannot be well composed on a safari. But when you come up and you take these nice photos, nice videos, well composed in a national park, hiking up a mountain, it really shows that, yes, you can still take this on. Thank you. One thing that actually, being a travel content creator, what it brings out is authenticity. You come alive, you know, when you're doing something that you're passionate about. So you're like, you're yourself, your inner child comes out, you know. So one thing I would like to tell people, don't force life, be yourself, please. Please, 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 don't follow the aesthetics, just be yourself, have a good time, you know. While you're doing something that you love, like content creation, just do it out of passion, not following trends or, you know, because it will lead you astray.
Precious, have you faced any challenges, or do you feel like ladies face any challenges during content creation in the field?
Yes, I have, and it's majorly, it has been gender bias. You know, from back in the day, women are perceived to be a weaker sex, and even when it comes to payment, I don't know why, still it's the 21st century, but women oftenly The payment now, because I do travel content I do highlight businesses, destinations. I've worked with the Ministry of Tourism, I've worked with the Uganda Tourism Board. So something that comes out is gender bias sometimes, especially for private businesses.
Yeah.
But also another issue is safety, because as I'm a lady, I have to first check out which places are safe for me, and then work-life responsibilities. Because, we have women who travel, we are stereotyped in a way, and also for like women who are now married, you find that if you're trying to do this, at the back of your mind you have to also balance
True.
the life
Your
responsibilities, family, yes, which is not oftenly looked at if it's a man, They'll be like, so now you're married, you're not doing this, or, So that stereotyping, it's not really a good thing.
How have you been able to overcome this?
First of all, I do this with passion.
Yeah.
So, and I believe everything that you do from the bottom of your heart with passion, it doesn't feel like a burden, And then I have principles and values as a person. There are certain things I cannot bend down low to, I'll be true to myself. Yeah. If someone maybe is, women, we are really susceptible to sexual advances now, like if you travel and everything. But I stick down to my values as a person, and that has really helped me. Being true to myself, basically.
That is nice to hear that from you. And I should say that I think you're one of those ladies that are really standing out in content creation in Uganda's tourism. And I'm very sure so many girls there are inspired by the works that you do. And some last words to the girls that are watching you, those that want to come up as content creators, what advice do you have for them? Thank you so much. So for any girls or even ladies who really want to go into content creation, one thing is I will advise you to have principles as a person. You don't need to drink from every cup that is given to you, and also do something from passion, not how much am I getting from this or what, because trust me, you'll be frustrated. Personally, I do it with passion. I've traveled almost 90% of this country, and because Uganda is very unique, Uganda is so beautiful, please take time and visit this country. You'll be blown, you'll learn a lot about you, about different communities. Trust me, you'll get a lot from it. Oh, thank you so much, Precious. It is nice having you here. Thank you. I'm very sure the viewers have really enjoyed and have learned something. Something that I should say to the content creators, as girls or ladies, nothing can stop you in this generation. For content creation, it is diverse. You can be a blogger, you can be a vlogger, you can be a writer, you can be a photographer. There is a lot, so many spaces in content creation for ladies to take up. So it is time for us to take up the space and promote the beauty that lies in our country, Uganda, because just like she said, Uganda is very unique. So let us take up the mantle on ourselves to see that we together promote the country and make it a must-visit destination across the world. Well, that is it that we had for you in the GM Tourism Express. And coming up is Olive Monica Najuma with the business update.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo,
you can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the tragic story of the mighty empire of Bunyoro Kitara. Enjoy the story of Africa's mighty warrior Omkama Kabalega in Tuko Pamoja Bunyoro segment.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
When the Bachweze weekend that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro Kingdom. That's Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
We are similar people. And genetically we are even the same people.
Use that word pamoja.
Kagadi at URDT Institute on Friday 2nd August. Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday 3rd August. Masindi at Vija Hotel on Sunday 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Radio 7 masindika bulijjo egenda kujakanya emyaka 3 mu nsike nga 3 ogw'omunana 2024 mu kisaawe ky'e Masindi anti Lwatamabaale Lwatamabaale Sobodonkoli nga bulijjo nga bw'okimanyi ebyokulya ebyokunywa byonna bya bwerere anti ate kuleetedde abayimbi ab'amaanyi Edi Kenzo ne Big Talent yonna lukoba ku lukoba kugaso n'abayimbi b'e Bunyoro bonna tutandika ku makya tukigalewo ku makya g'enkeera okuyingira mutwalo gumu gwokka jangu onyenyegali benjole mu Lwatamabaale anti nga Radio 7 ejaganya emyaka 3 mu kisaawe e Masindi nga 3 ogw'omunana 2024 tusookawo n'ebyemizannyo omuli omupiira okubaka okudduka nga biwagiddwa Balam Sounds by 2 Group.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, it's a beautiful morning here on Good Morning Uganda. We are broadcasting live from Nile Avenue here at the Broadcast House, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Now, today is also the 31st coronation anniversary of the Kabaka of Buganda, His Royal Highness, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi Chimera II. It's time for our business updates. And as we start that, as part of the country's energy transition agenda, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is hosting a mini expo to highlight energy efficient cooking methods. Now, if you make time and walk through UBC Gardens, you can explore a range of eco-friendly cooking solutions. And these include gas cookers, pressure cookers, and stoves that utilize briquettes. The expo is also open to the public and runs for 5 days from Monday to Friday. So the expo started this Monday. Today is Wednesday, so you still have time to walk through UBC Gardens and explore some of the items that are being showcased and see what you can buy so that you change to modern cooking methods. So over the years, Uganda has seen a significant loss in forest cover due to non-eco-friendly cooking methods. And to curb this, the demand for charcoal and firewood has been linked to unpredictable weather patterns across the country. So to curb this, the expo at the national broadcaster aims to showcase eco-friendly energy solutions so that we can now move from the solutions we've been used to, like charcoal stoves, where we have to use charcoal that we get from the trees that are cut down, so that we can now move to more clean energy like gas cookers and stoves. And by the way, it also has health benefits. So if you are interested, you should come to Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. You don't have to pay a fee, and have a look at the items that are being showcased up until Friday. Now moving on to the agriculture sector, the State Minister for Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, has rallied farmers towards technology adoption and digitized agriculture innovations to enhance efficient farm production. According to the minister, who was officiating the opening of the 30th National Agriculture Show in Jinja, the prevailing weather conditions and climate change has made technology inevitable in the agricultural industrialization. While officiating at the 30th National Agriculture Show in Jinja, the State Minister for Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, called upon farmers to leverage on emerging technology for efficient productivity. And he said to sustain modern agricultural practices, exhibitors must recommend inclusion of young people and empowerment of women. Yes, in as much as it is agriculture, we have to include women as well, because when you look at agriculture and where it has come from, women have always been at the forefront of agriculture, tilling the land with their children and growing the crops that are later sold. So it's very important to empower them in the conversation regarding agriculture. And Kawa Africa Association introduced a new crop on the menu to enhance commercialization. Wheat growing is expected to bolster household incomes and facilitate substance transition to commercial agriculture. So gone are the days when Uganda only had about 3 or 4 cash crops, that is coffee, cotton and tobacco. Now we have a lot more, wheat inclusive, and we will be exporting that. So it will be playing a big part when it comes to Uganda's exports. Now, speaking about exports, let's talk about traders in Uganda. Traders under their umbrella body, Kasita, have announced a national business sit-down strike effective Wednesday until President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni meets them in a more dignified way. Kasita spokesperson Issa Sechito's remarks come after President Museveni yet again called off a planned July 31st meeting with the traders at the ceremonial grounds in Kololo, who are protesting against IFRIS and high taxes by the Uganda Revenue Authority. Traders are also unhappy with Kampala Minister Minsa Kabanda. Well, the news coming in from the traders is not really exciting, but hopefully they will get a date from the president as to when they can meet and settle the IFRIS issues that has been making rounds and has had them in running battles with the Uganda Revenue Authority. And as we close our business news segment, now let's look at the forex market today. So the rates, as according to closing of business yesterday, we see that the US dollar at opening was buying at 3,718 and it was selling at 3,728, and at closing it was at 3,716 buying and selling at 3,726. The British pound, that is the GBP, was buying at 4,775 and selling at 4,788. The euro, by the time of closing, was buying at 4,021 and selling at 4,032. The Kenya shillings was buying at 28.42 and was selling at 28.50. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.37 and selling at 1.38. And the South African rand was buying at 200.43 and selling at 201.97. Those are the exchange rates as according to close of business yesterday. Today, the Bank of Uganda will be releasing new forex rates for the day. So keep watching out for them and see how you can trade today. Good morning. Now it's time for our traffic updates. I'm Olive Monica Najama to take you through some of the routes that you may be applying to get to your place of business. I'm looking at Entebbe Road to see how you can get to the Central Business District. And as we look at Entebbe Road right now in Kajansi, we see that in the area of Kajansi, we are experiencing a huge amounts of traffic jam. I see a long stretch for those coming to Kampala, a long stretch of traffic jam over here. But then looking at the other side for the people that are heading to the sides of Entebbe and environs, there is smooth flow of traffic. Now still following the route in Kajansi, I'm looking at the bypass roundabout right in Kajansi, and here we have smooth flow of traffic. Continuing still with Entebbe Road, I see smooth flow of traffic after the bypass in Kajansi, and for the most part, the smooth flow of traffic continues along the route. Now, as we approach the areas of Namasuba, I see a bit of traffic jam that is coming in through from Wankulukuku Road, and continuing with the main Entebbe Kampala Express, Entebbe Kampala Highway, there is smooth flow of traffic. A bit of traffic jam is coming in from Chigo Road, but when you join the main road, there is smooth flow of traffic over here. Now let's fast forward still along Entebbe Road to see what other environs look like, especially as you get close to the city, because what I see along Entebbe Road after the areas of Kajansi, there is a smooth flow of traffic for the most part in these areas. Today happens to be a good day because traffic jam and Entebbe Road, in most cases, they are in the same sentence. Now, as we get close to Zana, I see a bit of traffic jam right here, and shortly after there is a bit of a build-up that is starting still in the areas of Zana, but still nothing to worry about. For the most part, you won't lose a lot of time in the areas where I have seen traffic jam. Now, continuing still with this stretch, I see that we have smooth flow of traffic still along Entebbe Road. Now, Namasuba, as we enter it, it also still has smooth flow of traffic, save for around Botanical Beach campsite, where you're going to encounter a little bit of traffic jam. But going ahead still with the Entebbe Kampala Road Highway, I see that we have smooth flow of traffic. But when we get into the environs of Najanankumbi, here is where we start experiencing huge flows of traffic jam. I see traffic jam also coming through from Makindye side. Now we are at the roundabout in Chibuye, and as you can see, there are different sections of the roundabout where we see a bit of traffic jam, intense traffic jam coming in through from Najanankumbi. But the good news is that after there is smooth flow of traffic. I see smooth flow of traffic along Queensway. And as we get into the city, now we start finding traffic jam around the roundabout along Queensway. Here, you're going to lose some time because I see a deep red zone of traffic jam. Could be because one of the roads around Yusafi Market is closed, so you may have to change and maneuver through. And when I look at the surrounding roads downtown, I see that, yes, most of them are bringing in intense traffic jam. As you go to Entebbe Road side, there is smooth flow of traffic and a bit of a build-up as you start ascending that side. Well, for those coming in from Entebbe Road, that's how the traffic situation looks like this morning. But for the most part, I see that Kajansi, Namasuba, Zana, there is smooth flow of traffic. You will only start encountering traffic jam when you reach the areas of Najanankumbi. I wish you the best of luck as you try to find your way to town. And Good Morning Uganda continues.
Talk of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
You can now get all the chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the tragic story of the mighty empire of Bunyoro Kitara. Enjoy the story of Africa's mighty warrior Omkama Kabalega in Tuko Pamoja Bunyoro segment.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
When the Bachwezi weekend that we see the emergence of all these other kingdoms that were under Bunyoro Kingdom. That's Buganda, Bunyoro, Karagwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Nkore.
We are similar people. And genetically, we are even the same people.
Use that word pamoja.
Kagadi at URDT Institute on Friday 2nd August. Hoima Resort Hotel on Saturday 3rd August. Masindi at Vija Hotel on Sunday 4th August 2024. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Radio 7 Masindinga bulijjo ekenda kuchanganya emyaka esatu mu nsike nga ssatu ogw'omunana 2024 mu kisaawe ky'e Masindi anti Lwatamabaale Lwatamabaale Sobodonkoli nga bulijjo nga bw'okimanyi ebyokulya n'ebyokunywa byonna bya bwerere ate tekuletedde abayimbi ab'amaanyi Eddie Kenzo ne Big Talent yonna lukoba ku lukoba kugeza n'abayimbi b'e Bunyoro bonna tutandika ku makya tukigalawo ku makya g'enkeera okuyingira mu mutwalo gumu gwokka jangu onyenye gali b'enjole mu Lwatamabaale anti nga Radio 7 ejaganya emyaka esatu mu kisaawe e Masindi nga ssatu ogw'omunana 2024 tusookawo n'ebyemizannyo omuli omupiira okubaka okudduka nga biwagiddwa
Sugar Limited. Chairman Kombucha Drinking.
Balam Sounds by 2 Group.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome to the special edition of Good Morning Uganda, where we celebrate the coronation anniversary, 31st coronation anniversary of the Kabaka of Buganda, His Majesty Ronald Muwenda Mutebi Chimera II. He's been on the throne for the last 31 years. Now, Jerome Paul Sonko is right at Namirembe Cathedral to bring us live updates and speak to us regarding how the event is going. And right about now, he's coming on to tell us we are going to be having a conversation with Omutaka Christopher Namutwe Kadu okuva Musaza Liechagwe. So Jerome Paul Sonko is with us. Hello, Jerome Paul. Well, I think we don't have Jerome yet on the...
Butelevu, tuwaneno ku Lutikko e Namirembe. Ogwango olwaleero oba omulimu omunene gwe nnina gwakubeera nti ngenda bba nkuvuunirira mu nnimi bbiri. Olulimi Olungereza gatako olulimi olwaffe olwano Oluganda. Mwebale nnyo okutweyungako. You're still watching Good Morning Uganda. I am Jerome Paul Sonko and I'm coming to you live from Namirembe Diocese, and I'm coming to you live from the cathedral here in Namirembe. That is the better word to use. Emyaka gyali 3 mugumu olunaku bweruti emyaka 3 mugumu emabega omwana wa Muteesa yali atuuzibwa ku Namulondo ye. Kali kaseera kasanyu, kali kaseera kakujaganya wano mu Buganda n'emiriraano. Era olunaku olwaleero nga tujjaguza emyaka 3 mugumu egy'empologoma ku Namulondo. Tugenda bba twebaza omutonzi olw'okukuuma kabaka waffe. erinnya lyange nze mukulu Sonko Jorampo nga ndi mwana wa wano wa Buganda muzzukulu wa Kisoro era ng'omugenyi gwensoose okuba naye olunaku olwaleero y'omutaka Christopher ngono naava mu ssaza eryaffe ery'Ekyaggwe sebo tusanyusa okulaba omutaka Christopher Kaddu
namutwe ow'omukaaga tuli basanyufu nnyo okubeera ng'Abaganda nga tuuse ku lunaku luno naddala nga tujjukira emyaka egyo 31 nga Ssaabasajja atudde ku Nnamulondo ya Buganda alamula. Tulaba ebintu bingi bye tulina okwenyumirizaamu naddala mu byenjigiriza, mu by'obulamu, mu by'obulimi n'ebyenfuna byonna okutwalira awamu. Naye ekisinga obukulu kye tusinga okwenyumirizaamu kwe kwegatta n'obumu Kabaka bwe yaleeta mu Buganda oluvannyuma lw'amatikkiro ago ag'Ennaggalabi ffenna ge tujjukira. Nange gye nali nakeera essaawa 11 nali natuuse dda Ennaggalabi. Naye mu byonna kye tujjukira ku lunaku luno naddala mu biseera ate bino eby'abavubuka byebyo byonna Kabaka ebibadde bimusoomooza byasobodde okuyitamu ate Mukama n'abeera naye n'abiwangula. Era olunaku olwaleero tetujaguza bujaguza myaka 31 Kabaka ng'alamula kyokka naye ne byawangudde bingi. Mubaddemu ebintu ebibaddewo ebisoomooza Obuganda bingi nga waliwo abantu bangi abalinga abaagala okwawulayawula mu Buganda. Tubadde tulaba ebintu ebiyita ku mikutu gy'amawulire n'ebirala abalanga balina okubuusabuusa nga balaba ebintu ebiriwo naddala ku mikutu egyo egyaleetebwa nga gyewabiza nnyo Obuganda okuva ku mulamwa ogw'okwegatta n'enkulaakulana. Naye kitukoze bulungi nnyo nga tukulaakulanya emyaka gino nga tucelebrating emyaka 31 nga beene yakomyewo mu Buganda. Kyakujaguza ky'amaanyi nga Katonda amuwadde obulamu. Ebyo byonna eŋŋambo ezibadde ziyita mu bantu abatayagaliza Buganda birungi nga tulaba empangi ebadde ekubiddwa wakati w'Abaganda ng'abantu abali obumu. Naye tulina essanyu lingi. Twakedde wano ku matulutulu enkoko twagikutte mumwa wakati mu jjaamu tuyawaguzza ne tuuka wano okujaguliza awamu ne bannaffe. Waliwo abantu bangi nnyo be tulabye n'okuva mu ssaza lyaffe ery'Ekyaggwe baatuuse dda bangi.
Nange wendi
ne mutabani wa Kisoro muzzukulu wa Kisoro ali wano naye tusanyuse okumulaba naye nga nze nali mukubiriza wa bulabirizi bw'emukono kumala myaka egisoba 8 ate ejjajjange yali mwami Ekyaggwe era nsanyuse okubeera wano nga nkyaweereza beene mu ssaza ly'Ekyaggwe. Tukoze emirimu mingi ne bassekibooba ababadde bajja babeerako okuva beene lwe yatuuzibwa ku Nnamulondo n'essanyu lingi ng'omu ku bakiise abavudde Ekyaggwe ti olunaku luno lulina kyerulaga ng'Abaganda okusangulawo eŋŋambo n'ebintu ebirala ebibaddewo ku Buganda okusobola okunaaza Buganda n'okujaaga ekifaananyi kyayo ekituufu olwaleero nti ebibadde byogerwa byonna bulimbwa bwereere temuliimu mulamwa. Tusaba nga beene atandika omwaka ogwa 32 ku Nnamulondo ng'alamula ate tukwate essuula empya. Kino kituyigirize bingi twogerenga ebintu ebiriko omusingi ebikola omulamwa ebinaazimba Buganda. Buganda tugyenyumiririzaamu ti ku nsimbi ezifunibwa entono enkulaakulana nnyingi nnyezze mu by'obulamu mu by'obulimi. Mwawulidde nti emmwanyi ku mwaka guno twafunye biliyoni 1 n'obukadde obusoba 5 olwa kampeyini ya Katikkiro.
Mbadde njagala okukubuuza nti wotunuulira omulembe guno gwe tulimu omulembe omutebi ogw'abavubuka ffe tulina eŋŋambo egamba abavubuka envuumuulo naye ng'ovudde ku ekyo bubaka ki bw'osobola okuweereza omuvubuka alaba UBC essaawa zino nti okumanya ebimukwatako ng'omuzzukulu wa Buganda lwaki balina okwenyigira mu Buganda n'okwenyigira mu nkulaakulana egatta awamu Obuganda?
Ndi mukulembeze w'abavubuka ndi patroni w'abavubuka abali ebbalu ly'okugezaako okubazimba n'ebintu ebirala, naye nina kyenjize ku mulembe guno ti abavubuka baagala nnyo okufuna okwamangu, era mbadde mbabuulira nti bw'otagumiikiriza kukola nsimbi zo ne ziva mu ntuuyo, era bwe ziva mu byekiyaaye era bwe zigenda, nkubiriza abavubuka bayiga okukola nga bwe tubadde tukola. Nti mbawa ekyokulabirako kyange bulijjo ti nsuubudde emmwanyi, mbadde nnima nembeerako ne mu mbaawo, nkola emirimu gya Ssaabasajja ne mu bukulembeze bw'ekkanisa myaka 35 nga mbukola, naye n'obuwombeefu n'obuntu bulamu. Abavubuka kye basaana okulaba nti abantu abakulu abandikuwadde omukisa okubaweereza n'okubawa emirimu bwe babatunuulira nga muli babambaavu, kizibu nnyo n'okuba rekomendinga ku mirimu gye mwandifunye. Ekintu ekyokubiri, bayiga okugumiikiriza nti olina kukola nnusu ku nnusu, n'olyoka otereka ennusu gy'ofunye, n'olyoka obeera n'ebyobugagga n'obulamu obweyagaza obuli sustainable. Naye bwe banaalowooza nti baagala byakufuna byamangu kye tuyita matatu, tebajja kumalako ng'enjogera bw'egamba. Tubakubira omulanga babeere nga bawuliriza amagezi ge tubawa, bayige okukola okw'empolampola nga basonda ekitono kye balina okuzimba mu kinene, n'okubeera nga babeera n'empisa, okuweesa Buganda ekitiibwa. Si Baganda bokka, n'ebweru wa Buganda tubeere ekyokulabirako ekirungi ng'abaatandika obugunjufu wano.
Tweyanziza nnyo ssebo olw'obudde bw'otuwadde okumakya ga leero.
Amiina, neyanziza nnyo muzzukulu wa Kisolo. Tubaagaliza omukolo omulungi, okujaguza kwa leero tukwesunga nnyo. Mukama yeebazibwe.
Awo nno yoyo omutaka Christopher Namutwe Kaddu okuva mu ssaza ly'e Kyaggwe. Nagambye ngenda kukozesa ennimi bbiri olunaku olwaleero okulaba nga nnyongera okuteeka mu mbeera gye tuyitamu essaawa zino, oba embeera eriwo wano e Namirembe. Kaakati okusinziira ku preamble gye nva ofuna, it is said 31 years down the road since the king has been on the throne, the Buganda king has been on the throne. Now this is a very, very pivotal and critical moment, if you're to put it in that way, simply because of whatever has been happening in the kingdom or within and outside the kingdom. You've all seen the reports coming along on social media and being reported by different media platforms in relation to the king's health, in relation to the kingdom, his status. But that aside, 31 years down the road, and the celebrations here are more about thanksgiving and thanking the Almighty that the king is still living hard and still high on the throne. Kakati kankuzza ate eri abagenyi abalala bennina wano ku makya gano basobola obbabuuzaako gwe omulabi waffe naawe ayagala otwegako, kubanga tugenda batukuweereza buli ekigenda mu maaso wano e Namirembe. So beera nange muzzukulu wa ngenda nga nkusaako buli ekigenda mu maaso wano e Namirembe nga tukuza emyaka oba nga tujjaguza emyaka 31 egya Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi nga akyali ku Namulondo y'Obwakabaka bwa Buganda. Essaawa zino ngenda kweyungulako omutaka omulala, omwami oba omutaka Musoke Mulamba Frederick, ng'ono nno ye Katikkiro w'ekika ky'Enkejje. Sebo nkwaniriza oli butereevu ku TV y'eggwanga eya UBC.
Sebo neyanziza erinnya Musoke Mulamba Frederick nga nze Katikkiro w'ekika ky'Enkejje, muzzukulu wa Kikwata e Namukumwa. Ate nga nzi mwami wa Gombola ya Mituba Mwenda Goma mu ssaza ly'e Kyaggwe. Nsooka kuzaayoza bannakyaggwe okusinga ddala mukama waffe Ssekiboobo n'abamyuka be, ate ne jjajjange Jjajja Kikwata e Namukuma, omwami omutaka Mugolo Ronald, ate ne bannagoma bonna, abaami bange ab'Emiruka, ate n'abaami b'Egombolola bonna mu ssaza ly'e Kyaggwe, kuba nze myuka akubiriza abaami b'essaza eryo.
Olwaleero omutaka wotunuulira ku ntegeka eziriwo olunaku olwaleero, ekyenjawulo ekiriwo nti ku luno lunaku tulututte nno ku lutikko e Namirembe, kitegeeza ki eri Obuganda, kitegeeza ki eri Obwakabaka, na bw'otunuulira n'ebibadde bigenda mu maaso mu Bwakabaka, olunaku nga luno lwa nkizo nnyo eri bonna abazzukulu, naye bubaka ki bw'osobola otuwa n'omulabye essaawa zino?
obubaka bwensobola okuwa ku nsonga eno nti Namirembe yensibuko y'Obwakabaka ku kitono kyemmanyi era kitukoze bulungi okubeera nti entikko y'emikolo giri ku kasozi kano. Buli mukisa gwonna nze nkuze nkimanyi nti gusibuka Namirembe ate nga Ssaabasajja Kabaka yentikko y'emikisa gya Buganda. Era ndi musanyufu ne bannange okulaba nti Ssaabasajja yakomyewo ne tumulabako ate nga mulamu wadde ng'akyali mikono gy'abasawo naye nga kwegana ebyokwogera bimbula buli lwe mulabako n'okusinziira ebigambo ebibadde byogerwa naye nga kyensaba Abaganda n'abantu ba Uganda twogere ebyo bye tumanyi kubanga Obwakabaka buyina enteekateeka ng'eyita mu mitendera. Katikkiro abadde ayogera, omukubiza w'abataka ng'ayogera, buli kimu kiva mu mitendera emituufu naye abavubuka emitimbagano gino essimu zino mbasaba bongere okuzikozesa mbeera entuufu. Empologoma mweri
gwasinze kakati nno ngenda kuteeka ngenda kukuba mukulu ava ku Archdiaconry Yeruzira oba mu kanisa Yeruzira abeeko byatunyonyola ku nteekateeka olw'ensonga nti ku luno nga bwe njogedde nti bikyuseemu byanjawulo mukko. Tugenda bba n'okuba nga tujaguza emyaka 31 egya Kabaka Ronald Muwendo II ku ntikko naye nga twebaza Katonda olw'obulamu bwe, twebaza Katonda olw'emyaka gino 31 era kyekyo ekintu ekituleese wano olunaku olwaleero 31 years down the road as the king is on the throne. Many of his subjects in Buganda and those that are available in the country are so happy and throwing in their congratulatory messages as well. And then we've also been able to notice that we also have the Buganda community in the diaspora. Now, the Buganda community in the diaspora has also been very pivotal in ensuring that the kingdom moves forward and ensuring that the community of the Baganda continues to grow. Now, allow me bring to you Mwami Mukasa Samuel Herbert. Like I said, I will be juggling 2 languages this very morning in order to balance all the 2 audiences that we do have currently on our breakfast show. And Mukasa Samuel Herbert onono mukubiriza waluzira Archdiaconry ngonono naye ali buterevu wano ku TV eggwanga eya UBC. Mukulu Mukasa sanyuse nnyo kusinkana.
Munange muzzukulu wa Solo nga bw'abategeezezza erinnya Mukasa Samuel Herbert omukubiriza w'Obusaabadinkoni obw'Eruzira ne yanzizza nnyo okubeera wano ku mukutu guno omunene olutimba olunene olwa UBC ng'omu abadde mu kuteekateeka era nsobodde okubeera nti ekiseera kino nkikozesa nga bwe kiri era ne neebaza mukadde waffe Ssaabasajja omulamwa gwe yalonda obumu bwaffe nga Buganda ge maanyi ga Namulondo ne kitulaga nti nno gyali akulembera Namulondo kwali bulungi era twagala okwebaza ebigambo ebibadde bisonsekebwa ebyogerwa ebingi asobodde okukomawo ku nsi y'aboobwe najja okutuula ku ntebe ye era tumanyi nti buli ekikolebwa wano kitukikola tulina amaanyi kubanga twebaza olw'ebintu ebyenjawulo byazze akola mu ngeri ey'okukulaakulanya ebyobulamu ebyenfuna ate n'okufaayo ku bantu be. Ekyamazima tubadde n'emiramu egy'enjawulo gyajja tuyisaamu ate ne tubeera n'ebyobuwangwa byaffe ne bikulaakulana n'akulaakulanya abavubuka. Kale twebaza nti era mu kukulaakulanya okwo omulembe guno yaguwa abavubuka, omulembe omutebi yaguwa abavubuka. Twagala okwebaza nti akoze bulungi Obuganda. Emyaka nga 3 mugumu egiyise nali nkyali muvubuka nga nakatandika okukola obulungi era weewaawo saasobola kwetaba mu kutikkira kwennyini naye ku lutimbe twaliko ne tulaba byonna bwe bikolebwa naye natwala obuvunaanyizibwa nga nkuzeemuuko ogenda okwongera okutunuulira ekifo ekyo bwe kiri ne ndaba entebe kuba mutuuza eri mu muti ne ndaba ennyumba Buganda byonna ne mbitegeera era ne neebaza bajjajjaffe Kabaka abaagenda abayiiya ekifo ekifaanana bwe kityo.
Mpozi ekisembayo mwenge ekkanisa olunaku luno olwaleero mulwetegekedde lutya naddala mmwe abava ku sayidi y'eruzira?
Tukunze abantu baffe okusinziira mu mitendera nga parishes tulina amakanisa agatandikirwako tusobodde okubategeeza ate nga n'ekikulu mu kyo bakadde baffe kati nga antwala eruzira ye Ssaabadinkoni waffe George Wilson Kakooza asobodde okubeera nga tubeera mu kwetaba mu nkiiko zino eziteekateeka era ng'abantu baffe tubatuukirira era neebaza nga sinnavaako ssebo nga mpadde ekisembayo neebaza olukiiko lwonna olubadde luteeka nga lukulirwa bisopu waffe wano ate obuuyi buli owekitiibwa Dr. Anthony atukoze bulungi Anthony Wamala n'abantu bonna bayise nabo ng'omukungu David abadde omu kuba David Ntege abadde omu kuba teesi n'abalala bonna be batambudde nabo ate naffe wano ku lutikko tubadde n'eddiini ne tubeera ne vika n'akulira mission Reverend Samuel Muwonge bonna babadde bakola bulungi naffe abakubiriza tubadde n'oweruzira nze kennyini ow'Entebe abakubiriza bonna tusobodde okwetaba mu nkiiko zino mbaagaliza bannange okugenda mu saaviisi eno nga twebaza mukadde waffe okumukomyawo ate n'ekirabo eky'obulamu kyamuwadde twebaza ku lwa Katonda n'ensi yaffe.
Amiina. Tweyanza nnyo ssebo olw'obudde bw'otuwadde olunaku olwaleero. Oyo nno ye mukulu Samuel Herbert omukubiriza wa Luzira Kidinkonale nga naye abadde atuwa sayidi ye ey'ebintu okusinziira ku lunaku olwaleero. Kaakati kambeeko omwami mulala gw'ennyanjula essaawa zino ababuuzeeko atubuulire entegeka z'olunaku olwaleero na kiki bye tulina okusuubira mu lunaku olwaleero na kiki ekitegeeza eri obwakabaka bwa Buganda. Ssebo nsanyuse okulaba.
Nange bwentyo ssebo amannya nze Tebyasa Benoni nga ndi mukulembeze w'abavubuka mu Makindye municipality era nga tuli wano olwaleero mu nteekateeka y'okujaganya oba okujaguza emyaka 31 egya Ssaabasajja nga atudde ku ntebe ya Namulo ku ntebe y'abajjajjaabe. Tuli basanyufu nnyo okusookera ddala ng'abavubuka nti myaka 31 abavubuka bongedde okwagala obwakabaka kubanga twali tetubutegeera. Nze Kabaka yatula ku ntebe y'abajjajjaabe nga nina emyaka 4 so kati ogenda okulaba nti ebbanga lyonna gye ligenze litambula okusomozebwa okubaddewo ebyobulamu ebyenjigiriza tulaba nti Kabaka asitudde ebyobulamu naddala mu kitundu kyatwala ekya Buganda kitukambira ddala nti ng'abavubuka tikituyamba nnyo because tulabye bursaries ez'enjawulo tulabye ebintu eby'enjawulo ebyobulamu azimbye amalwaliro ag'enjawulo nti abantu baffe tulabye emisinde egy'obwakabaka abantu badduka siriimu kulwanisa akawuka ka Mukenenya tulabye fistula obulwadde bwa Nalubiri so ebintu bingi nnyo ebikoleddwa mu gino emyaka 31.
Abavubuka oba kati basobola owa abavubuka abatulaba essaawa zino n'abo abakatandika obutandisa okwettanira mu bintu ebikwatagana n'ebyobwakabaka.
Ekisooka mu byonna njagala abavubuka bategeeza okubeera abagumiikiriza n'okubeera ng'abakakkamu. Tulabye ebiseera mu kiseera ekiseekawo emabega ekitali kinene nnyo tulabye ebigambo binnya ebiyitingana ku mutimbagano naddala ku bulamu bwa Ssaabasajja Kabaka ekitabadde kirungi naye ng'ate tebikola bantu bakulu nnyo n'abavubuka so tulowooza nti abavubuka okubeera ng'abakakkamu okubeera abagumiikiriza okubeera abagumiikiriza ekisinga obukulu naye nno mu ngeri endala ey'enjawulo nga tujaganya emyaka gina 31 tulina okwebaza kuwa ekitiibwa omwagala w'abangi President Museveni kubanga kwali kuteesaakwe okuzza obwakabaka buno tukijjukira nti wali bwaggyibwawo naye General Yoweri Museveni ng'atudde ne kamandi yaliwo ebiseera ebyo ne bakkaanya nti obwakabaka budde nti singa abantu babeera bukola ki babukkirizaamu so owekitiibwa President yonna gy'ali kakasa nti alaba twasiima nnyo twali bato tetwaliwo abasinga naye kwali kuteesa kulungi nnyo ne kamandi yonna eyaliwo bajjeno sali musale bonna abantu abaaliwo abayita mu nsonga eyo batukola bulungi nkakasa nti bakulembeze buli kitundu kyagala nnyo okwenyigira mu byobuwangwa bw'ekitundu ekyo era twasiima nnyo oweekitiibwa President Museveni si kakasa nti kirungi nnyo okujjaganya emyaka 21 ne weerabira omwagala w'abangi President yatukola bulungi nnyo.
Tweyanziza nnyo olw'obudde bwo. And let me just take you back now to the English language a little bit. When you look at what has been happening in the kingdom for the past 31 years, there has been a lot of youth involvement over the years. I will tell you, 31 years ago, I was not yet born. That I can tell you. But during the same time, I got to experience and hear stories from my father, hear stories from my grandfather, who then was still alive and also had stories about the kingdom and stories of the coronation of the coronation ceremony that happened in 1993 on the fruitful day of the 31st of July. Now, when you look back 31 years apart, the journey is something that you have to look back at. And the last gentleman I've been having here has also mentioned a very pivotal he has actually opened up a very candid conversation that relates to the involvement of President Yoweri Museveni in relation to the coronation of the king, because this was a dream and it was something that many of the subjects of the kingdom wanted or were praying for, to see the king the king coronated again and reinstated into his position as the king of the kingdom. And of course, at the backdrop, or at my back, you can easily see the Namirembe Church. This right here is where every proceeding of the day is going to be taking place. And we will be definitely giving you all the details, because in 1 hour's time, we will be kick-starting off with the proceedings of the service that is pretty much focused towards, or which is geared towards celebrating the life and the journey of the king, that is Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II. So, long live the king, so they say, and that is exactly what we are here to do. And of course, as you can definitely see, just to realize that people are now accessing the church. We kind of have a number of schools that also made their way here, and more of the delegates are still coming in, and we are definitely going to be having a day of prayer, a day of celebration towards many things. But one of the things that you need to put into context today is the fact that the kingdom is alive and the king is alive and he is within us. They will definitely tell you in Pologoma Mweri in the Uganda dialect. So for those of you who are watching UBC this very morning, please do note that every live detail of the proceeding is going to be brought to you live from the comfort of your living room. And for those of you who are streaming as well, kakati wembaza kulimi orafe Uganda omuntu omu ayinza okwebuuza leero nga nkyuseza mu nnyamba orafe olwaba moli nga nyambadde kanzu olunaku olwaleero okulaba nga tujaguza emyaka mugumu ejja Muwenda Mutebi.
Well, leero Sonko atonya moli era nga n'omwami Kirabo Nnyonyi Ntono atonya moli ate nze nasukulumye leero nsuse
nkulaba
mwali
baffe era ali muleegamu embazi ndigigaaya
Kirabo
omanyi bwe tuna eri kabaka waffe
Obuganda buladde
era essanyu limbuganye kubanga olwayo tujaguza emyaka 31 akabaka owa 36 Ronald Muwenda Mutebi atudde ku Namulondo y'abajjajjaabe alamula Obuganda ate mu ngeri ey'enjawulo nti mwali
kabaka mwali
era ekimu ku bivuddeyo olabye nti abantu Sonko bayogeddeko nabo bonna essanyu oba okujaguza kw'olwaleero mu ngeri ey'enjawulo ky'osanga bangi baali balowooza nti beene taabeere naffe olw'ebyo ebadde biyitiŋŋana ku mutimbagano era nga mu ngeri embireeseemu okusoomooza mu Bwakabaka oba mu Buganda n'Abaganda.
Kituufu ekyo.
Kubanga obadde olaba abaana ab'obulenzi n'ab'obuwala abavuka abamu bali bweru w'amawanga, abalala bali wano mu Buganda naye nga baweereza ebitaliiko mitwe n'amagulu ate nga bifudde ensonga. Naye Katonda wa Buganda n'omwoyo gwa Buganda ogutafa, laba omutanda bwajja n'akomawo ku butaka era ensi nemwerabirako ddala ng'eyita ku mikutu egy'enjawulo timwali Kabaka mwali.
Mazima awangaale Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda ne Nnaabagereka Sylvia Nagenda agerekere Buganda. Now, if you're just joining us, today is the 31st coronation anniversary for the Kabaka of Buganda, His Majesty Ronald Muwenda Mutebi Kimera II, Ssegwanga Musota Bemba gonna manyage tuiye Ssegwanga ye waligwa wetuligwa naye lwakuba kirabo tannagwa simanyi lwaki kubanga embuuzi entuufu mu Buganda abaami weeyala ku ttaka
anti ng'omutanda waali ekyo kyasigalira mutanda yekka era bw'aba alabiseeko takubwa mugongo tomala kweyala mu maaso ga Kabaka nze musajjawo ate n'okyuka odda livansi odda kyenyumanyuma Kabaka takubwa mugongo naye bw'aba taliiwo abasigadde bonna kubeera yekka alina amannya aba tulina linnya abasigadde bonna tewali gwe tukolera kikolwa ekyo nga ffe abasajja Abaganda.
Okay, ekyo nakyo tukitegedde. Now, Buganda culture is beautiful and Buganda is one of the oldest kingdoms in Uganda. It is also currently the largest, if not have been the largest all through the years. But yes, it's one of the kingdoms where we hold true to the king and the norms of our society. Now, fun fact about the king of Buganda, he was coronated on 31st July 1993 in Nagalabi. He was a young man then, and currently at the age of 69, he still reigns as the king of Buganda, and he's married to the beautiful Sylvia Nagenda, the Nnaabagereka of Buganda, oba mu lulimi olukufuutifuuti the Queen of Buganda. And one of the things when I speak about the Queen and the Kabaka in the same sentence, that one of the biggest and most beautiful memories I have of them is the wedding in 1999. Embaga yasuula ebitooke. Naye ate amatikkira ga Kabaka go galeka gasikayo emiti. You said you were there.
Yes.
Do you have any memories from the coronation events in 1993?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I remember I was moving with my mother because by then we didn't have so many borders like we have today. Actually, we had Abobugali. I don't know today, I've not seen them of late. But before these Bajaj Boxers, these motorcycles came in, by then the best you could have was Abobugali. And we had a border rider who was called Waswas. I don't know why. So, because my parents' home is along the road to Nagalabi. Actually, when you move on Entebbe Road, you'll find a Chitirirwa that has Nebalamye Mayanja.
What does that mean?
Nebalamye Mayanja, actually, I don't know the actual meaning. But during that time, the coronation of the Kabaka, or even when the Kabaka is going to visit some places, they raise those two poles and then either they put back cloth or reeds to show that the Kabaka is going to pass through. So there is a place called Insaro. They built this Chitirirwa. So I asked my mom, they told me, bagenda tikkira Kabaka, bino biyitirirwa. And at every Chitirirwa, people would gather and they expected the king to make a stopover. So along that road, it was overcrowded. As a young boy, one of my uncles put me on his shoulders to To be honest, I don't remember the cars because there are so many people. I was
But
a
you
bit young.
remember so
But at least
many.
I remember that celebration.
Yes.
And I remember drums all night. All night we didn't sleep. Drums and Ngalabi Zafuke and Ngalabi. People were dancing. People were jubilating. You'd hear them pass on the road, and if you woke up as Chichi, Kabaka. And I saw some elder persons. We had a very old woman around, but I remember that very excited and waking up in the morning, trying to find all ways to get to Udo na Galabi. Yes, and UBC TV, that was
then
UTV broadcasted because we were on TV watching. We were watching the function on black and white, but still we could follow events in one way or the other.
As they were happening in real time. Well, now 31 years later, we still celebrate the King of Uganda, and we love to say Awangali Aisabasajja. Now, the Kabaka belongs to the Nchima clan because all Kabakas in Buganda take on the Nchima clan as their totem. But their children, his children, are Balangira for the boys and princesses for the girls. And
Abambeja.
Abambeja, princesses Bambeja for the girls. So that's the King of Buganda. But now let's go to the events of today, Robert. Usually, when the coronation anniversary comes, we normally have events like in Wudu, but this time round, we have a Thanksgiving service at the cathedral in Namirembe. Why the change this time?
Now, this initially, according to some sources, was going to be specifically prayers for the life of the Kabaka. Because we must recall that lately, among the challenges the Kabaka was his health. And we are very grateful to the Almighty God that he has kept him alive and in good shape. Now that basically organized this to be prayers as we mark, not so much of celebrations. Actually, some are saying, many even thought he wouldn't be around to celebrate. Maybe he would still be somewhere attending treatment. So it is just by the grace of God, the spirit of Uganda, that our king is around at such a time. So we needed more of prayer for the life of the Kabaka. So it was basically seen in an aspect of prayer. And in Uganda, a lot of functions are done in Namirembe Cathedral.
So what significance is Namirembe Cathedral in the history of Uganda?
Well, if we remember very well, many have said, and many scholars, that civilization began in Uganda and it extended to other parts of Uganda.
Yes.
Now, we remember how the missionaries came to Uganda on invitation of Sekabaka Mutesa, that come and teach my people religion. Come and teach my people that civilization. Now, when they came, each of these religious dominations occupied or were given land in a particular area. That's why the Catholics are at Ulubaga, the Protestants are at Namirembe, our brothers, the Muslims, you find them Old Kampala, but basically they're in Chibuli. Now, Namirembe is the basis of Christianity and the church missionaries. Some scholars say previous to that church was a very huge shrine of then the Kabaka, not this Kabaka, but then the Kabaka, because Kabaka is a title given to anyone who occupies that throne at a particular time.
The prince who occupies, who now becomes Kabaka.
Who now becomes the Kabaka.
Yes.
So when this person converted, actually said, I do away with this, and let's replace it
with a church.
With a church.
Oh.
So, Chitebe Chobukristaayo mu Uganda.
Okay.
And the king succumbing more to that faith. So that is why you see, if you remember, a number of functions, Thanksgiving, Kugatiwa, and all that, you'll find that it is usually Namirembe. And that is why we see it is where we have seen these prayers being held on such a day.
Now, when you watch the screen, some of the events that you're viewing are some of the events that have occurred in the last 31 years as the king has been reigning on the throne in Buganda. Right now, lately he's a bit under the weather. He's been struggling with his health, but when he is healthy, the Kabaka is a man of the people. You're going to see him in different places, and when he moves around, you will see the joy of the Baganda upon sight of their king. Just recently, when he returned from Namibia, I remember Baganda were extremely happy that the king is back to the country alive and healthy. And even here at Good Morning Uganda, I remember us being excited. The king, the king was back. So we will be showing you some of the events that took place back in 1993 when he ascended to the throne, but also we will be giving you live updates from Namirembe Cathedral, where the Thanksgiving ceremony is taking place today. We celebrate 31 years of the reign of our king, Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi. Now, someone would wonder, yes, you've told us about the background of Namirembe Cathedral and why the events are happening there. But let's look at the significance. What does the choice of venue for the coronation anniversary this year, what does it indicate in terms of collaboration between the kingdom and religious institutions?
Well, first and foremost, you can't detach Uganda from religion.
Yes.
Much as many would say we have our traditional way, there are those people that still believe in that.
Yes.
And indeed, in our cultural practices, that is not something we can deny. However, when we look at the birth of religion in this country, it all began with Buganda Kingdom. With that letter that was written asking Queen Victoria that please send me your people to come and spread the gospel, but also spread civilization. Because Kabaka Mutesa looked at civilization because he had seen what the white man was doing. But when the white man came, many have said he fronted the Bible so much because religion has power.
Yes.
To soften, to change character.
To manipulate.
I have not said that. So when the white man came, definitely he promoted. And when you look at the white man did not only bring religion, he came with education.
Yes.
He came with health.
Yes.
You talk about Mengo Hospital. In the health, Mengo Hospital, Rubaga Hospital, Chibuli Hospital. Chibuli is
it's
a bit,
not white man,
it's
but
not white
still.
man, the Arabs, and a number of hospitals you can talk about,
Yes.
but I think Mengo is the oldest.
Yes.
Now, education. He came with the likes of King's College Budo, Gayaza, and to mention but a few, because the number of religious or church-founded schools that have a missionary connection to it. So Buganda and religion are intertwined.
One and the same.
One and the same. And that is why you see, despite certain rituals being performed on the Kabaka, you still see that still in Namirembe, they'll also have to carry on religious rituals as well. Yes.
Now, what's happening right now is exactly what I was talking about earlier. That's how we greet the Kabaka in Buganda. That's how men in Buganda or from any other part of the world, the minute you're greeting the Kabaka, that's exactly
those have
what
not perfected
do.
it.
No, you saw the white men,
yeah, the white men
but the men before that, they were doing it the right way. And that's, you know, when you go to different countries, or even in Uganda here, you go to different parts of the country, we have different cultural norms.
And we say Bugende Buliambwa.
So the Kabaka was coronated in 1993 after the NRM government restored kingdoms that had been abolished for quite some time by a certain leader in Uganda. But when President Museveni became president of Uganda, among the things he promised the Baganda was the restoration of the kingdom and also bringing back of the king. By then he was in exile in I think the United Kingdom, and then the kingdom was restored. The Kabaka came back to Uganda and he was coronated to take over the throne that had been once seated on by his father Edward Mutesa II.
And to the Baganda and Uganda at large, because when kingdoms and cultural institutions were instated, it's not only the Baganda that benefited.
Yes.
But the Baganda, one of the things in their memories is they'll never forget what now we call the King's Palace, Rubiri Mengo, how one of the former presidents, Milton Obote, attacked. And that fateful day is so much in the memories of many. Now here comes President Yoweri Museveni, reinstates and returns
the king, the palace.
Because remember, it was all about, it had been taken over by the military since then.
Yes.
And even it was a very big barracks around Rubiri. The army that occupied it. So when he reinstated the kingdoms and cultural institutions, he went ahead and also a number of properties that belonged to Uganda were returned to the kingdom. And some of these are what the kingdom is using today for economic benefits. And we are not only celebrating 31 years of the Kabaka on the throne of his ancestors, but also the great achievements of this kingdom.
Okay, now speaking about the achievements of this kingdom, let's look at culture and norms. How has the Kabaka promoted and preserved Buganda's cultural heritage, including language, customs, and tradition?
Well, first, he himself is culture. He's a symbol of unity to begin with.
Yes.
Obuganda ekitugattira awamu bwe bwakabaka bwaffe ne kabaka bwaffe. So he himself being present that there is a kabaka in Buganda, seated on the throne of his ancestors,
yes,
is first and foremost a symbol
of culture.
Of culture itself.
Yes. And heritage.
And heritage. Now, the unity, because in Uganda, when the Kabaka speaks, that is why you see that in many challenging situations, many can speak and respect all authorities. But if the Kabaka speaks, and that is why you see he's been instrumental in a number of productive campaigns.
Yes.
He's an ambassador. We are looking at ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. He's an ambassador there. When the Kabaka speaks to the youth, says mwekume oburadde bwa mukenenya, tokoloti, that message, how we perceive it, how Baganda perceive it. And we must remember that he's a king to all within Buganda. Buganda tesosola. It is all welcoming. That is why even when you look at the cabinet in Mengo, you're going to find Indians there.
For real?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why anyone will come in Uganda, immediately get a name.
Yeah, I've met, you find Anna Simwe with a Chiganda name at the end.
Yes, because, and that is why, you know, sometimes you hear someone say, Ni Muganda wawu, ze ni musajja wa kabaka, ni Muganda. All these are showing how, these names show how they came into this kingdom and were brought all in to serve as people of the Kabaka. So he himself is a symbol. 2, that unifying factor. 3, the fact that when he speaks, he commands direction.
Yes, he does command direction to the people in the kingdom. And as we say in Buganda, tugamba nti Sabasajja asimye. Now we'll take a short break and we'll come back with Buddos. We will leave you with Buddo Secondary School with Oli Masomoji Musota. And when we come back, Jerome Paul Sonko will be giving us live updates at Namirembe Cathedral. Stay tuned.